The truth always finds a way to follow you, no matter how far you run. Belly thought Paris would be her escape, a city big enough to hide her heartbreak, bright enough to distract her from the Fisher brothers who tore her world apart. But Conrad and Jeremiah are not done. The trailer for episode 10 makes one thing terrifyingly clear. Paris is no longer just Belly's safe haven. It's the stage for the next collision of love, betrayal, and impossible choices. And this time, the consequences might shatter not just Belly's heart, but the fragile bond between the brothers forever. Episode 10 of the Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3 doesn't waste time pretending. It rips open the illusion Belly has been living in and shows us the cracks she's been trying to ignore. On the surface, Paris looked perfect for her. The laughter of new friends, the glow of late-night cafes, and the comforting rhythm of a city that felt like freedom. She built a life there, working, studying, smiling, even daring to let a new romance spark with that mysterious French boy who admired her boldness from the very first moment. To anyone watching, it seemed like Belly had finally moved on. But the trailer whispers a darker truth. The shadows of Cousins Beach have followed her across the ocean, and now they are about to catch up. The moment Conrad's letter appears, the Paris dream begins to unravel. That letter isn't just words on paper, it's a ghost of everything she tried to bury. The trailer teases her holding it, staring at it as if it weighs more than her entire new life. And in a way, it does. Because Conrad's words cut through the walls she spent months building. They remind her of the promises, the heartbreaks, the love she still feels no matter how hard she's tried to silence it. It's raw, it's desperate, and it's real. And for Belly, it's proof that no city is far enough to outrun her past. But Conrad isn't the only storm on the horizon. The trailer confirms the unthinkable. Jeremiah is coming to Paris, too. His presence changes everything. Paris was supposed to be Belly's world, untouched by the Fisher brothers. Yet now, both of them are stepping into her fragile kingdom, ready to turn it upside down. Imagine the weight of that moment. Conrad, the wound she can't heal, standing in front of her. Jeremiah, the comfort she leaned on, refusing to let go. The safe distance Belly created collapses instantly, leaving her torn between two truths she has been avoiding. She can't erase Conrad from her heart, and she can't ignore Jeremiah's quiet devotion. The tension doesn't stop there. The trailer hints at Jeremiah's calm, his smile, his supposed forgiveness toward Conrad. For weeks, he's been painted as the selfless one, the brother willing to step aside if it means Belly's happiness. But is it really that simple? Or is Jeremiah hiding a storm behind that easy smile? His decision to come to Paris suggests something deeper, something darker. Maybe this isn't just about forgiveness. Maybe it's about making sure Conrad doesn't win without a fight. And if that's true, then Paris won't just be Belly's reckoning. It'll be the battlefield where the Fisher brothers clash once again. Episode 10 is being set up as more than just another chapter in Belly's story. It feels like the breaking point the entire series has been leading toward. The Paris lights, the laughter of friends, the fleeting sense of peace, all of it is fragile. The second Conrad and Jeremiah step into her world, everything she built begins to crack. And the question that lingers, the one that haunts every frame of the trailer, is whether Belly is strong enough to face the truth she's been running from. Because once the brothers arrive, there will be no hiding, no pretending. The illusion is over, and the choice she makes will change everything. The moment Conrad and Jeremiah's footsteps echo in Paris, Belly's carefully constructed reality begins to collapse. For weeks, she told herself that Paris was her clean slate. She filled her days with schoolwork, her evenings with cafe laughter, and her nights with dreams of a future where the Fisher brothers no longer haunted her. But episode 10 pulls that illusion apart piece by piece. The trailer doesn't just hint at their arrival, it makes it clear that their presence isn't temporary. They're here to stay, and with them comes every unfinished chapter, every scar, every promise that was never truly broken. Conrad's arrival is heavy with symbolism. He's not just a boy chasing after love. He is the embodiment of everything Belly tried to run from. The letter that turned into a man, the past that has shown up uninvited in her present. The trailer shows glimpses of him walking through the Paris streets, older, worn, almost burdened by the weight of what he's lost. And yet, when he looks at Belly, there is still that spark, That undeniable connection that refuses to die, no matter how much time or distance separates them. For Belly, it's devastating. Paris was supposed to be her sanctuary, but Conrad's presence makes her realize that some loves cannot be buried, no matter how deep you try to hide them. But Jeremiah's arrival is a different kind of storm. Unlike Conrad, he doesn't come with the same weight of regret. He comes with charm, patience, and that quiet determination to remind Belly that he's still there, still waiting. The fandom has long debated whether Jeremiah's forgiveness is genuine or just another mask. And now, episode 10 might finally give us the answer. Because stepping into Paris, Jeremiah is no longer the boy in the background. He's a rival standing on the same ground, and his presence forces Belly to confront the possibility that she never really moved on from him either. If Conrad is the wound, Jeremiah is the bandage. But what happens when they both stand before her, demanding answers she doesn't have the courage to give? The trailer teases Belly's Paris life cracking under the pressure. One moment, she's laughing with her new friends, smiling as though the city has healed her. The next, she's staring at Conrad, unable to breathe, unable to deny what's still between them. And then there's Jeremiah, gentle, steady, offering comfort that only makes her guilt heavier. Belly is trapped in a cycle she thought she had escaped. Paris was never strong enough to erase the Fisher brothers, and now she must admit to herself that her heart has been divided all along. What makes this episode more dangerous than any before is the silence. The trailer doesn't show screaming fights or dramatic confrontations. It shows tension, heavy pauses, the kind of quiet that speaks louder than words. Conrad and Jeremiah walking side by side through Paris streets, both carrying unspoken truths. Belly caught between them, her face torn between longing and dread. It's the kind of silence that can break a person because it leaves too much space for old wounds to bleed again. And then comes the question of Jeremiah's so-called blessing. For years, fans have argued whether Jeremiah would truly step aside for Conrad. Episode 10 hints at that possibility, a noble gesture, a selfless act. But is it real? Or is it just another mask hiding the storm raging inside him? The idea that Jeremiah could simply hand over Belly as if love were something to be gifted feels tragic, almost impossible. Forgiveness is one thing, but watching the girl you love choose someone else is another. And the tension in Jeremiah's eyes, the pain behind his smile, tells us that this so-called blessing might be the beginning of something darker, not the end of it. Episode 10 isn't just about Belly choosing between two brothers. It's about the brothers themselves. Can they survive this collision in Paris without destroying each other? Can Conrad's vulnerability and Jeremiah's quiet longing coexist in the same city without tearing the fragile threads of their bond apart? The trailer doesn't give us answers, but it makes one thing painfully clear. Paris is no longer Belly's escape. It's the battlefield where love, loyalty, and heartbreak will clash until something finally breaks. And when it does, the fallout won't just consume Belly, it will consume the Fisher family as well. But even as Paris glimmers on the horizon, promising new beginnings, there's an undeniable storm brewing between Conrad and Jeremiah. The brothers, once bound by the unshakable bond of family, now find themselves standing on opposite shores of love. Both pulled toward the same girl, both unwilling to let go. The tension is thick, not just in their words, but in every silence, in every glance that lingers too long. If Belly is the heart of this story, then Conrad and Jeremiah are its fragile edges, tearing apart with every decision she makes. And as season 3 edges toward its finale, viewers are left wondering, will Paris unite them, or will it finally break them beyond repair? Conrad's feelings for Belly have always been more complicated than he admits. He hides behind walls of restraint, convinced that stepping back is what's best for her even if it breaks him inside. He tells himself that letting Jeremiah take the lead means Belly will be happy, but deep down, he knows the story isn't that simple. Every time he looks at her, every time she laughs, every time her hand brushes against his, the truth pierces through. He is still hopelessly in love. But love, for Conrad, has always been laced with guilt, with fear of ruining what little remains of their fragile family. So, when the idea of Paris arises, Conrad faces the question, does he risk it all to follow her, or does he let her go, even if it means losing her forever? Jeremiah, in contrast, wears his heart out in the open. He has always been the one to chase, to fight, to believe that love can overcome the cracks. He's not afraid to dream, not afraid to hope, and he's certainly not afraid to follow Belly, wherever she goes. For Jeremiah, Paris isn't just a city. It's a chance to build something real, something lasting, away from the shadow of the past. He believes that if he can stand by her side through this new chapter, she'll finally see him not as the boy in Conrad's shadow, but as the man who chose her wholeheartedly. But beneath that hope lies fear. The fear that Conrad's quiet, intensity, the love that Belly once couldn't resist, might rise again and undo everything. And Belly, caught between them, faces a truth she cannot ignore. Paris isn't only about adventure or new dreams. It's a test, a crossroad where she must finally face the emotions she's been running from. Can she carry both brothers with her into this new chapter? Or must she choose, knowing that the weight of her decision might fracture the Fisher family forever? The choice looms like a shadow, and the closer the finale comes, the heavier it feels. Every scene hints at the inevitable. Hearts will be broken, ties will be tested, and no matter what happens in Paris, nothing will ever be the same again. And as viewers, we're left clinging to the suspense, wondering who will take that step onto the plane, who will be left behind, and who will finally find the courage to say the words that have been burning on their lips since the very beginning. The countdown to Paris grows shorter, the invisible clock ticking louder with each passing moment. The atmosphere between Conrad, Jeremiah, and Belly feels like a storm waiting to break. Every decision now carries the weight of permanence. Every word spoken carries the sharp edge of possibility, and every silence between them feels like it could collapse everything they've built together. The question isn't just whether Conrad or Jeremiah will follow Belly. It's whether this choice will redefine their relationships forever. Conrad, true to his nature, remains torn between heart and reason. He watches Belly with the quiet ache of someone who has already lost too much and fears losing more. His hesitation is his curse. It has always been. He wonders if following her to Paris would be selfish, a move driven only by his own longing, or if it could be the chance to finally show her the depth of his love. But every time he takes a step forward in his mind, guilt pulls him back. He fears repeating the same mistakes, hurting Jeremiah, and shattering the fragile bond they still share as brothers. Conrad's greatest enemy is not Jeremiah, not even fate. It is his own restraint, his endless fear of destroying what little harmony remains. And yet, beneath his carefully controlled exterior, a spark remains, a spark that whispers he cannot. Let Belly walk away without a fight. Jeremiah, however, is not a man of hesitation. His love is bold, fearless, and urgent. He is ready to make sacrifices, ready to cross oceans, ready to take risks for Belly. To him, Paris represents a clean slate, a place where love can grow without shadows, without comparisons, without the constant reminder of what Belly once had with Conrad. Jeremiah dreams of strolling with her down cobblestone streets, of laughter shared under the Parisian sky, of building a life where she never doubts his devotion. But even as he dreams, reality gnaws at him. He knows that Belly's heart is still entangled with Conrad's in ways she hasn't fully untangled herself from. And that knowledge terrifies him, because it means that no matter how much he gives, she could still slip away. For Belly, the weight of her choice is suffocating. She sees the pain etched in Conrad's eyes, even when he refuses to admit it. She feels Jeremiah's unwavering warmth, his willingness to fight for her no matter the cost. Both loves are real, both are powerful, but they are so different. One feels like gravity, pulling her in no matter how far she runs. The other feels like sunlight, chasing away her fears and lifting her higher. But the truth she cannot escape is that she cannot carry both into her future. Paris, once a symbol of freedom, now looms as a decision point that could break not just her heart, but the fragile family she has always been part of. And so, the suspense builds. Will Conrad finally step out of his silence, risking everything, to confess what's in his heart, or will Jeremiah's steadfast courage win the day, his willingness to follow her anywhere becoming the proof she needs to choose him? And what if, in the end, Belly chooses neither, realizing that love cannot flourish when built on divided hearts? The finale teases all possibilities, leaving viewers caught in the same storm as the characters. Every hint, every look, every half-spoken. Word pushes the suspense higher, and just when it feels like the answer might be within reach, the story pulls back, leaving us stranded in uncertainty, desperate to know which path they will take. One thing is clear, Paris will not just be a journey, it will be a turning point that defines the future of Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah in ways none of them can yet imagine. As the story races toward its conclusion, the Paris question is no longer just about geography. It has become a symbol of destiny, of love tested, of choices that will echo long after Season 3 ends. Conrad, Jeremiah, and Belly are no longer simply characters caught in a teenage love triangle. They are young souls standing on the edge of adulthood, about to make decisions that could shape the rest of their lives. And for the audience, every moment feels like holding your breath, waiting for that final heartbeat that will reveal everything. Conrad stands at a crossroads. For years, his love for Belly has been both his greatest strength and his deepest weakness. He has carried it quietly, often too quietly, letting moments slip by until they turned into regrets. But Paris threatens to be the ultimate regret if he lets her go without a word. This is his last chance, his final window to either confess or let silence close the door forever. Will he finally break free from the walls he's built around himself, or will he once again stand back, convincing himself that Jeremiah deserves her more? The answer hangs in the air like a secret, just waiting to be uncovered. Jeremiah, on the other hand, sees this as his moment to prove that love doesn't need to be complicated. His devotion to Belly has never wavered. He has always been the one to stay, to fight, to hope. To him, Paris is not a risk. It's an opportunity. If Belly chooses him, then every struggle, every doubt, every tear will have been worth it. But he also knows that if she doesn't, the wound will cut deeper than anything he has ever felt before. He will have given everything, only to realize that sometimes love cannot be forced, no matter how true it feels. And in that possibility lies the tragedy that fans fear the most, that Jeremiah's heart could once again be shattered. For Belly, the weight of choice feels almost unbearable. Both brothers hold pieces of her heart, but only one can hold her future. Paris becomes more than just a trip. It's a metaphor for stepping into a new life, for choosing a path and leaving the other behind. She knows that whichever way she turns, she risks losing something precious, the comfort of Jeremiah's steady love or the depth of Conrad's unspoken devotion. And what terrifies her most is the thought that by choosing one, she may forever lose the other, not just as a lover, but as a friend, as family, as someone who has been part of her life since the very beginning. The finale hints that the answer may not come easily, that perhaps the decision will be left hanging, unresolved, forcing fans to carry the suspense into whatever comes next. Will the camera follow Belly into the plane, revealing who takes the seat beside her? Or will it cut away, leaving us in the dark, haunted by the possibilities? The writers know the power of a cliffhanger, and with emotions this raw, they might just hold the truth back for one final, painful twist. And so, as episode 10 prepares to close, we are left with questions that echo louder than answers. Will Conrad break free of his silence? Will Jeremiah's courage finally be rewarded? Will Belly find the strength to choose? Or will she walk away from both, realizing that love without clarity cannot last? One thing is certain, the road to Paris will change everything, and once they take that step, there will be no turning back. The story of Conrad, Jeremiah, and Belly is no longer just about a summer love triangle. It has transformed into a journey about identity, destiny, and the choices that define who we become. Paris is not simply the romantic backdrop everyone imagines. It is the test that strips away illusions and forces each of them to face the truths they've avoided for far too long. Every heartbeat of this finale feels heavier. Every word spoken carries a shadow of finality, and every glance exchanged between them lingers like it might be the last. Conrad stands at the edge of his own silence, haunted by the weight of missed chances. He knows that if he lets Belly go this time, the door may close forever. Yet his hesitation is not born of weakness. It is born of love twisted with guilt, of fear that his happiness could mean Jeremiah's heartbreak. For Conrad, the choice is not simply about following Belly to Paris, it is about deciding whether to fight for the future he has always dreamed of, even if it risks breaking the brotherhood that has anchored him his entire life. The conflict rages within him like a storm, quiet on the outside, but devastating on the inside. Jeremiah, by contrast, is the flame that refuses to dim. His love burns bright, his promises are spoken aloud, his devotion evident in every action. He does not play games with silence or hesitation. If Paris is Belly's dream, then Jeremiah is ready to make it his dream too. Yet beneath his unwavering determination lies a question he cannot shake. Will his love ever be enough to eclipse the unspoken pull between Belly and Conrad? Jeremiah's greatest fear is not losing Belly to distance or time. It is losing her to a love that feels inevitable, a love that he cannot compete with no matter how fiercely he tries. And Belly, she is the center of this storm, the one holding the power to choose, yet also the one most burdened by it. Her heart is a battlefield, torn between Conrad's quiet gravity and Jeremiah's steady warmth. Paris promises her freedom, adventure, a chance to start fresh, but it also demands an answer she has long avoided. Can she love without breaking? Can she choose without destroying what remains of the family she has always cherished? Each possibility feels like both a beginning and an ending, and the weight of it threatens to crush her. As the finale unfolds, the suspense deepens. Every moment feels charged, as though the air itself is waiting for someone to finally break the silence. Will Conrad finally step forward, shedding the weight of his restraint and speaking the truth he has buried for so long? Will Jeremiah's unwavering devotion prove to be the anchor that Belly cannot let go of? Or will Belly, in her search for clarity, walk away from both, choosing herself over the tangled web of their love? The tension is unbearable, the stakes higher than ever. And the truth is this: no matter what happens in Paris, the story will not return to what it once was. Something will break, something will shift, and nothing will remain untouched. That is the power of love when it collides with destiny. It changes everything, whether we are ready or not. And so, as viewers, we wait with bated breath. The unanswered. Questions linger in the air like unfinished sentences. Who will take that final step forward? Who will be left behind in the shadows? And when the lights of Paris finally glow against the night, whose hand will Belly hold? The suspense does not fade, it only grows stronger, pulling us deeper into a story that refuses to let go until the very last moment.